Far Cry 4, here it is. Look at these fantastic views, ferocious animals, and dangerous enemy outposts. The crazy antagonist who acts perhaps a little too chummy with our strong male hero who finds himself launched in the middle of a conflict which depends on his action to be resolved. Wait a poppy-picking minute, this is most certainly the wrong game. Far Cry 4, here it is. Look at these fantastic views, these wild, ferocious animals and the dangerous enemy outposts. The crazy antagonist who acts perhaps a little too chummy with our strong male hero who finds himself launched in the middle of a civil war. This time around our action is no accident. We have returned to the fictional country of Kyrat to leave our mother's ashes behind. Straight off the bat, complications arise and Pagan Min, a wonderfully evil yet entertainingly bad guy, invites us to dinner.
Terribly sorry for what happened before.
Things kick off in grand fashion with a daring escape. Guns, explosions, vehicles, and mountains. As soon as this excitement comes to an abrupt halt, we're led through the game's stealth mechanics. Without giving it a second thought, we found ourselves immersed in the tutorial chapter of the game. And it didn't at all feel sluggish or boring, and more importantly, these first missions set the tone of the game ahead. The game is one hell of a journey. The open world map is thankfully littered with all sorts of discoveries and dangers to sate the player's lust for adventure. Not everything is available from the start, and progression rewards you appropriately. In fact, this is one of the best aspects of the game. The more you put in, the more you get back. There are all sorts of activities available: hunting, hostage rescue, campaign missions, races, tower liberation, base defending, and even a little spelunking, to name a few. However you choose to find your thrills, you are paid in money or skill points or locations to visit, or even more items to purchase in the store. When you enhance your arsenal or physical capabilities, you find that there is more fun to be had traversing the map and more options available to complete a mission. It's a bit of a cycle that I happily found myself trapped in for a good number of hours between story missions. In many other open world games, side missions feel like filler, but that is rarely the case with Far Cry 4. Even in the side missions, characters come to life with some of the best motion capture performances I have seen this year. The characters engage with each other and show strong, yet subtle emotions and gestures that tell so much more to the story than what they are saying, whether they are telling you something without speaking, or exaggerating how important the mission is to them. The direction is clear and adds more to the cutscenes. You won't often be taking advantage of the skip button prompt. It does help having the entire game take place in first person, which is a staple for the series. Every action is close to you, and when you're down on the ground beneath striking mountainscapes, it can feel quite overwhelming. Crawling through flora on the hunt for particular fauna is tense because your view is limited to your character's view, if not enhanced by a few herbal concoctions. NPCs talking directly to you can get very much in your face. The immersion goes deeper than putting your eyes in your character's head. The subtle visual cues and excellent sound design keeps you in the moment, needing to heal up, or getting close to your target, or realizing that there is a collectible nearby that you could divert to. You also no longer need to take the time opening your menu to craft health kits, as picking 2 green plants automatically gives you one. The story in particular is a shining example of how to engage a player in an open world game. There is an ongoing conflict between the self-proclaimed king of Kyrat, Pagan Min, and the rebels who aim to remove the tyrannical dictator and restore the land to the sacred, peaceful haven that it once was. These rebels are the Golden Path, and they serve as your allies in Kyrat, assisting you in missions and requiring your assistance in life-threatening random encounters, which rewards you with karma. Be nice or you'll find your karma steadily decreasing, which is bad because there are some very tasty rewards, discounts, and unlockables to be gained from being good and playing nice. The Civil War isn't the only conflict that our protagonist AJ is concerned with. As the story develops, you discover that all is not well with your buddies, and the Golden Path has a few potholes to deal with. Story missions require you to think morally about your choices, and you're given options for how you want to solve a problem. For example, you might liberate an opium farm for the Path's personal gain. A free people need money after all. Or you burn it down to remove the pollution from the land. This rocky advancement through the plot really does elevate the game from a mindless run and gun to a thoughtful exercise in deciding how war should and could play out. These extra layers of complexity, coupled with the enjoyability of the character performances, helps to surpass Far Cry 3's exceptional campaign motivations and unforgettably introspective antagonist Vaas. Combat is intense. Every wound rips your experience a new one thanks to the full first-person engagement. Shaking your aim, and when you're hit, you flash red in the peripherals, down to the self-healing in quite graphic ways right before your eyes. This is nothing new to the series, but it's good to see that it remains. You need to consider how long it actually takes to heal versus the time taken to find cover or even reload. Far Cry 4 features thousands of unique or unexpected firefights, and this game turns the difficulty up a notch for beginners. It is very easy to be overwhelmed, especially if you decide to storm through. Being overwhelmed is especially the case with the wildlife in Kyrat. Everything seems to be out to get you and seem twice as tough as the previous games. You will, without fail, manage to have multiple memorable encounters with eagles and honey badgers. You have no choice. That will happen, and you will not be prepared. When it comes to weapons, everything that you would expect is to be found here. Pistols, SMGs, assault rifles, shotguns, sniper rifles, and rocket-propelled grenade launchers. Most weapons will be made available to purchase from the conveniently numerous stores or travelling salespersons in Kyrat. However, some weapons can be added to your arsenal by picking them up from a dead guy. A very welcome feature to the game is that when you see an enemy with a weapon, you will definitely be able to kill him for it. Aside from the explosives, my favourite weapons had to be the knife and bow and arrow. Whether your enemy is human or otherwise, stealth is usually the preferred option. Stealth is incorporated as well as it was in the previous game, which is to say that you won't get away with poorly considered hiding spots or careless sneaking. Once cover is blown, you're in a lot of trouble. If you can kill an enemy that sees you before he raises the alarm, then you're saved from an army of reinforcements homing in your position. You can even move the body out of view to improve your chances of not being discovered. The methods of stealthily taking down an enemy increase in number with your skill point upgrades, as well as the number of chain kills that you can manage. After a few hours, you will discover a preferred approach for how you will take down bogeys, and through practice, you will start striding through outposts like you own the place. Once you know your favourite way to skin a cat, it wouldn't be remiss to start skinning some cats. Or badgers, they bloody deserve it. Skinning particular animals helps you upgrade your equipment, which means holding more ammo or loot or money, which will ultimately help you to venture deeper into the unknown or engage in longer bouts of hunting before having to stop and return to a shop to offload your goods for cash. Some pelts can only be grabbed from the aptly named Kyrat Fashion Week, missions which allow you to chase some particularly rare prizes. Some missions will send you far away from the vast adventure field offered in Kyrat, taking place in the surrounding high-altitude peaks of the Himalayas or in the mystical and beautiful Shangri-La. Both locations seem to echo ideas presented in previous Far Cry games. The Himalayas require you to watch your oxygen levels and pick up refills lest you run out of breath and die. This constant fear of watch your health reminded me of the threat of malaria in Far Cry 2, which would send you scrambling to find a first aid box if your syringes were out. But now you're in a race to find oxygen tanks wherever butterfingered explorers may have left them. Either that or borrow a tank from a recently deceased soldier, a necessary incentive to kill in these harsh conditions. Shangri-La is reminiscent of Far Cry 3's drug trips, but are certainly more involving this time around, with larger maps to fly around and location-specific weapons, enemies, and abilities. I don't want to spoil them all here if you don't know what to expect, but they reminded me of how Scarecrow's challenge room switched up the gameplay in Arkham Asylum, and Shangri-La is as challenging as it is fun. The co-op is back from the previous game, and with a handful of huge strongholds to take down, having a team by your side is certainly welcome. With different multiplayer game modes and very fast session matchmaking, it is easy to spend an evening or two forgetting to progress in the single player when there is so much multiplayer content to get your teeth into, including single player missions that can be tackled with multiple cooperative partners. The PvP gameplay is a standard 2-team affair, but is removed from the single player campaign. There are 3 game modes to choose from, and whichever of the teams you play as, the playstyle for each game mode will change dramatically. However, there is balance between the 2 teams, and the outcome of each match depends on how well your teammates manage to work together, which half the time proved to be a problem for me. But it is still early days and we have yet to see the inexperienced to experienced ratio even out. A new gimmick that lends well to the mountainous setting of Far Cry 4 is the wingsuit. On top of flying machines and hang gliders, you may now freefall at a crazy speed with a decent level of maneuverability using the wingsuit, which can be purchased fairly early on, and definitely makes you think again about fast travelling when your destination is at a lower altitude. All vehicles in general handle similarly to previous games, in the way that they have a good weight to them, and funky trinkets swinging around inside to let you know how rough the unforgiving terrain is. Looking out of the side window allows a clear, uninterrupted view of your surroundings, which is great for shooting while you drive, but has led to a good number of excellent car crashes on my part, as I take in the breathtaking scenery. The best vehicle by far is the Elephant. While these pachyderms are a little on the slow side, they offer unmatched assault capabilities and can even flip cars over with ease. Heck, even when not riding an elephant, you can sit back and watch the stampeding slaughter of an enemy outpost if you find one nearby and pop a cap in its ass. Failing to find an elephant, you may find a caged tiger or a leopard roaming around outside the strongholds. Really, it's a lot of fun watching the carnage take place. With so much to offer in every aspect of the game, there is very little doubt that a Far Cry 5 would need to pull something special out of the bag to add to the experience as much as Far Cry 4 has done with story, gameplay, and environments that we fell in love with in Far Cry 3. That said, there is no such thing as a perfect game, but when you're always having fun with finding new experiences to occupy your time between missions, as well as enjoying multiple solutions to each mission, it's hard to find a game that is more fun. I'm happy to give Far Cry 4 a well-deserved 8 out of 8. Thanks for watching. I've been Peter with the Kilobits, and please do leave a like on this video, it's a little thumbs up down there, or even subscribe, and you can follow more of the Kilobits action at facebook.com/thekilobits or twitter.com/thekilobits.